You ain't gonna believe this. So this poor black girl was given some trash land in Oklahoma. Then out of nowhere, oil start pouring out of it. And it accidentally made her richer than every white family in town. And instead of celebrating her, the government tried to reclassify her as white. So the girl name is Sarah, and she's 11 years old, and it's the early 1900s. America's deep in segregation, and Oklahoma just became a state. And Sarah is born in 1902 in Indian Territory, which is a part of the Creek Nation. She was black, but her lineage were Creek Indians, like how many black Americans even have Indian lineage in today's time. And this was around the time when they labeled black members of the tribe freedmen. Not because they were enslaved by Indians like history like to claim, but because this was a tactic used by Asian and European immigrants to replace the original black Indians of the land and make foreigners become the new Indians of the land. That's why when you look at modern tribes today, you see majority of white and Asian looking people in them. And here's where it gets weird. As part of treaties after the Civil War, the U.S. gave land allotments to native families. And Sarah ended up getting about 160 acres of land, but not the good kind of land. It was dry, rocky, and barely farmable. Basically, the government's way of saying, here, have all the leftovers. Her parents were so broke that they had to take out a loan just to pay the property taxes on it. Fast forward to 1913, and boom. Literally, an oil company drills on the land and strikes black gold. Suddenly, this worthless patch of dirt is producing 500 barrels a day. And at 11 years old, Sarah is making $300 a day. That's over $10,000 a day in today's money. And her wealth snowballed fast. In less than a year, she's earning $10,000 a month, and her fortune crosses $1 million before she hits puberty. And the newspapers start calling her the richest colored girl in America. Now here's where America does what America does. You know the jealous white folks lose their mind. A black child out earning entire counties? She's richer than her white neighbors? Matter of fact, she's richer than most of the white legislators. So what does the government do? They try to reclassify her as white. Yup. In 1914, an Oklahoma judge signed a petition to legally declare Sarah as white. Not because she asked for it, but because the system couldn't process a black girl that wealthy. According to the documents, this would make her more acceptable to society and help her better manage her finances. Translation, you're too rich to be one of them. And here's the thing. Most white kids who inherited land didn't have to worry about predators. But Sarah, she was a black child sitting on millions in a country that thought black women didn't deserve dignity, much less wealth. So what did the system do? They gave her a white guardian. A white man was assigned to manage her money because they said her parents weren't fit to handle her wealth. They claimed she needed protection. What she really needed? Agency. The same paper that called her the richest colored girl also ran editorials asking, is Sarah safe? Not just from outsiders, but from the whole government. Once the public found out how rich she was, everyone came for her. Politicians tried to control her land. Businessmen sent marriage proposals, and not just from other kids. Grown-ass men were writing letters trying to marry her. Strangers filed lawsuits trying to take her oil rights. Some papers even accused her family of being unfit to raise her. But here's the plot twist. Sarah wasn't stupid. She hired black attorneys, moved to Kansas City, bought a mansion in a white neighborhood, and refused to leave when the neighbors protested. She kept control of her land, her wealth, and her identity. As she grew up, Sarah stayed out of the spotlight. No Instagram, no flexing. But behind the scenes, she was buying real estate, owning stocks, even owning automobiles before most people could afford a bike. She eventually married, had children, and lived comfortably. But she never chased fame. She died in 1967 at the age of 65, still wealthy. But they still erased her from the history books. I wonder why. Ask a classroom who Rockefeller was. They'll tell you, with no problem. But ask them who Sarah Rector was? Crickets. So why don't you know Sarah Rector's name? Because her story break narratives. She was young, she was black, and she was wealthy. And she wasn't supposed to exist. She didn't fit the mold of oppressed and poor. She didn't fit the narrative of the system's fantasy of black inferiority. So they tried to bury her legacy, reclassify her, manage her, and erase her. But the facts don't die, and neither do legends. So now you know. The richest girl in Jim Crow America was a black kid named Sarah.